Welcome back, everyone, to a fun-filled Merge Conflict, your weekly developer podcast. Talking about all things in the world of developer-y things. Sometimes .NET, sometimes Apple Vision Pro, sometimes open source software, sometimes in-app billing plugins, and just general in-app billing APIs that change every year. I am one of your hosts who is in a okay mood today, James Montemagno, and with me as always, the one and only Mr. Frank Kruger. How's it going, buddy?
Yes, I try to never leave your side. I try to always be there for you whenever you need me. I respond to your texts the moment you send them. I'm just on top of things. And I'm in a great mood, even though I'm completely exhausted. I had to do some physical work today, and so my body's tired, but I am ready to talk about technology because that's what we do. We talk about technology, but mostly programming and mostly .NET. Okay, we have our niches.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. But today I do want to talk about Android. We have 3 topics today. I have 2. And in the time that we do those 2, Frank has come up with the third. So will he stick around till the end to find out if Frank comes up with topic number 3?
Oh my
I don't
God.
know if people don't know, we basically do zero planning for this podcast. Our planning is our lives. So things that are happening in our lives become the podcast. And I think that's really exciting. I mean, it kind of makes it, spontaneous. But there are some planned things like events, obviously, like when Build and Dub and big releases come out and iPhones are, breaking and setting on fire because of titanium. Those are great things to talk about. However, Frank, I want to bring up and talk about in-app billing again. Because
But I thought you were joking.
nope.
I
Okay.
thought there was no way we were talking about this.
Nope. So as one does with their partner, is you often are taking long drives together and you talk about in-app billing libraries and specifically Google in-app billing things, because I build the in-app billing plugin, and at my wife's company, she's head of mobile engineering. So like she deals with this stuff like all the time. So we talk
Yeah.
about Google's restrictions and requirements. Now,
Okay.
in this call, we've just doubled down on how much we enjoy. Now, Apple could screw us all over, by the way, like next release, but I don't think they will. Here's my problem, Frank. Google has decided in their righteous mind to release a new version of in-app billing every single year.
Yeah.
And they decide that you have 1 or 2 years to upgrade to that version, or you cannot release your app. Now, they're not going to turn off the spigot, maybe at some point,
Right.
but you're not even allowed to update your application. And they're big breaking changes. And here's the thing. I use 0 of these new features. I have 1
Yeah.
in-app billing thing to purchase and 1 subscription. I don't have free trials. I don't have promos. I don't have like groupings. I have all this stuff. I think I'm in the 99% of applications that have like 1 thing to buy, 2 things to buy, 1 subscription. Not a big deal. And like even big companies, right? Like
Hmm.
big applications have like a subscription. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, here's the thing. I want to talk about the ethics behind this. And am I like, is it okay?
This is
Because
my subject.
here's the thing, here's why I hate making the in-app billing library that's cross-platform,
Which
is
is
because it
something you
deals with,
volunteered to do, but fine.
yep,
Please continue.
I hate it. I love it, but I hate it. It's because it deals with money, and I don't want to mess with people's money. Every
Yeah.
year, Google is messing with money for
Yeah.
developers, and it's very upsetting. This is a new thing. And here's the thing. I have to go through all this code, and it's all the APIs just get worse. There's nothing better to them. They're more complex, more advanced to do the same freaking thing, which is buy a product, restore a purchase, give me a product back. Why do I need phases and changes? And like, why are they changing like product SKUs to products? Like, why are you doing it? It's so upsetting. What would Miguel de Icaza say? Ding.
Well, I mean, it's an ding. It's an ad company. Of course they're going to mess with your money. All they do is play little margin games. Like, ooh, if I charge this person 25% and that person 27%, we have a 2% arbitrage and we're profitable. This is how big companies think. This is why you should never work with big companies. But anyway, It's just Google. They're notorious. They don't care about anything. Is it ethical? No. Let me just get to the let's get there right in the beginning. No. Every time, and look, I'm even going to take a bigger stance. I don't even care that it involves money. You are
Wow.
not allowed to break an API ever. I don't care if you're using Semver or not. You are not allowed to break an API. If you decide, in your vast wisdom, to increase your major version number and break an API, that's a bug. You are introducing a bug into everyone's app. And you have to decide, is your single person's time more valuable than thousands of other people's time? Or are you not a conceited jerk? You have to make
Yeah.
that decision at some point. And when you've made that decision, you'll see, don't break an API ever.
Yeah.
That said, sometimes global warming happens, wars break out. Sometimes you got to change an API, you bump up the Semver, but you cannot do it every year. So, no, it's unethical. They're a big group of jerks, and I'm just going to say it because someone has to. This modern world of breaking libraries every year just for fun. Like, this happens. I've been doing a little bit of the JavaScript world, and the
Mm.
JavaScript world is particularly nasty because not only is there a new framework invented every year, everyone's got to switch to that, but libraries come and go, and libraries don't keep up with the latest runtimes. And if you let a Node app sit for, I'm going to say about a year, maybe 2 years, it's going to be very difficult for you to get that thing up and running again, just from packages missing and libraries moving on, incompatibilities with the OS, things like that. So, in general, the whole modern movement toward Semver and breaking APIs, just going to say it, everyone who does that is a big jerk, and please stop doing it.
Yeah.
Rant over. Please tell me more, James, about how they're
Yeah.
jerks.
The problem is like every time that they break the API, I have to break my API basically. Like there's no
Yeah,
sometimes ways around it. And I even had someone reach out to me, at Microsoft and was like, "Hey, like I'm getting ready to upgrade because I can't upgrade my app. I can't even release an app upgrade until I
right.
upgrade your thing. Is it
Yeah.
against V6?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's against V6." Like, were there any changes? I was like,
Yeah.
well, the API surface, I did an additive change. So, I had a
Okay.
default, I added a default constructor, sorry, a default parameter. So your
Nope,
API is
not good enough.
compatible.
No, not good enough. You can't put by default, do you mean it's initialized to a value?
Yes, correct.
That's not good enough. Because in .NET, we ship our apps compiled, IL. It's not compiled down to native, it's compiled to
Yeah.
IL. You
Yeah,
have introduced a new parameter into that
correct.
constructor that makes it a completely different constructor from what they're linking against. So if they're at a code level, then they can recompile against your library without a change. But
Yes,
at a binary level, you just
it's
broke every
different.
app.
That is correct. Correct.
And that
Accurate. Yeah.
matters. It does matter because okay, so if someone's referencing you, bueno, everything's fine. If someone's referencing someone who references you,
That's the
no bueno.
problem. Yeah, that is, and that is
So-
the issue. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's a good point. No, I didn't think of it like that. That's a super
yeah,
good
don't
point.
add adding parameters is a breaking change, and see rant number 1, breaking changes are not allowed.
I guess I well see. No, I guess you're right. So I guess I would have had to introduce
A second
a
constructor, an
second.
overloaded constructor.
Oh man, yeah. Okay, that's there you go. The more you learn, I mean, I probably knew that. Now that you say it, now it makes sense. But
Yeah,
it's like it was like, oh, there's default.
yeah.
Well,
As
the
long
other
as
thing
you're
too is,
additive, yeah. No
yeah.
mutation, be additive. Yeah.
Well,
Those are the
then what
rules.
I told them, I was like, well, that's the only change to like methods. If you upgrade the library, which you'll have to, and just reference me directly, that's the only thing you'll have to change. I said, except all of Android subscriptions change 100% because Google changed everything at 100%. And someone
Right.
was like, and here's the fun part is like, someone was like, there used to be a property called free trial length, and that's no longer there. Like, how do I get access
Mhm.
to that? And I said, oh, Google removed that, and they prefer that you parse the string that you set it. So they recommend you do product ID 30D or 1W or 1M or whatever, right? And you
Cute.
parse the string yourself and like
What
what?
What a
And I was
what a
like,
wonderful change. Totally worth breaking change and making it worse. Perfect.
yeah. So anyways, it's delightful and changing and it just kind of upsets me because um it's like and the thing is I have like no reason to upgrade my application. Like my application's good, it's running, like I'm not
Mhm.
really it's in kind of in maintenance mode. And to
Yeah.
me, this is what upsets me about it is like it's in maintenance mode and it's like good. Like it's ready
I
for
don't
the
like
fall
that term.
season.
That's a big corp term. Don't use maintenance mode. Just
It's
say the app
in
does what I designed it to do and it
okay.
doesn't have any
The app
outstanding bugs.
the app is stable and it's doing what I want it to do. And
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm not, if I wanted to add new features, the feature I wouldn't want to add is rewrite all of the in-app billing and retest all of it, right? Like the thing works perfect. Like if then Heather and I are discussing, we're like, well, here's the cool, interesting part about Apple. They have StoreKit,
Mhm.
which is not a great API
Mhm.
in general. It's been around from the beginning. And you know what
Yep.
they've done? It's everything has been additive. They have all this new junk that I don't care about. I don't even care. I don't even want it. I expose it because it's new. I put the conditions around the blah, blah, blah. It's all new. It's all good. It's all additive. They changed nothing else. Now they have StoreKit too. If you want to rewrite all of your in-app billing, you can. I know at some point they're going to force us to do it, right? But
Mhm.
in all of the years of StoreKit, guess what? It works exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah, not to play silly games, but, like, how often have you had to update the iOS side of your in-app billing generic plugin?
Never. I've only
Never.
updated it to
Period.
add new features. That's it.
Yeah, okay, so if they yeah, what did they do? They did, like, limited subscriptions or time-limited subscriptions, things like
Yeah,
that.
they
Yeah,
added
okay, yeah.
they added like more metadata, so like you could grab more metadata. You could like open a subscription page or do a bunch of other like
Mhm.
little like open some store page or like see if someone you can like see if there's like a boolean that says like does this account have access to the store. So if it's like a kid's account, right,
Oh,
it wouldn't have access.
right.
So that's a
Oh,
boolean you could
nice.
check ahead of
I
time.
didn't know about that one.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. You can say, oh, are you able to even buy stuff? And if you're not, then I'm not going to prompt up the screen because it'll just give you an error or whatever. So yeah, all
Yeah, I know
additive.
it's not the greatest API, but, like, every time I would go to you, and we've certainly discussed it on the podcast plenty of times, I keep saying these things are just shopping carts. Like, let me access the inventory, let me post an order, and let me get a confirmation that the order succeeded, and
Yep.
everything else I can handle.
Yep.
And yet they just keep on insisting on making things more complex.
Yeah, it's like when
I
you
mean,
go
it
to
makes
home.
sense.
Yeah,
Mhm,
well, it's like you're saying, like, and like you also want to like retrieve all of the receipts for a user account. Like when you go to Home Depot and you want to return something, they scan the
mhm,
receipt, which is your user ID for all intents. It's a transaction ID, but you
mhm.
have it, and they're like, "Cool, done, returned." You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like we know that you bought this thing on this thing, and it pulls it up, and it's just a database lookup. Like do that thing. That's all I want.
yeah. Yep, yep. Now the sad thing is, like, I was just thinking. Okay, small side tangent here. I was playing What If. What if? What if the world was different? What if history was a little bit different? And the What If game that I was playing was, what if the App Store wasn't based on stupid iTunes and selling music? What
Mm,
if the Apple engineers had actually decided to write a new app store that had, app specific things like trials and, demos and betas and things like that? It's not the world we live in. Instead, the world we live in is we got a very messed up version of iTunes in order to sell our apps in, which had zero
mm,
features for apps. In app purchases weren't even there in the beginning. That's why all my apps were paid for. And and it's also why none of the apps ever had trials, because you don't trial music. You get a 30-second version of it, but they won't even let us post 30-second versions of our apps. So the What If game really annoyed me because I kept thinking, I'm like, wow, it's not laziness. We all know how big corporations work, and building a website is actually difficult, but I'm just going to say laziness. The laziness to reuse the iTunes system for purchasing apps really really defined history. I blame it
yeah.
a lot for bringing the price of apps down to zero. to where we all have to do the freemium model now. And then fine, they could have supported the freemium model, but they don't. So we're supposed to use subscriptions and in-app purchases to do the freemium model. It's all just kludges on kludges on kludges because of stupid history and because we got the wrong branch in the what if game. So, why do they keep I agree that they should keep adding to it because yeah, in-app purchases are very important. It's the only way to make money on the App Store mostly these days. But it still doesn't give Google any right any right to change the API. They're just
Yeah.
conceited. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. It's like I
It's
feel
not
like
their
that's the
problem.
problem.
It's
Yeah, it's
just
like
the
when
devs.
things are when things are so stable, right? They're already forcing you to upgrade your app for the latest compilation and all this other stuff, and like that's a minimum bar, and eventually like to just delist your app, and it's like okay, I get it.
Mhm.
Like you want active apps, you want this stuff, but it's like again, what if the app is literally doing and running perfectly exactly how I want it to be? That's my problem at the end of the day. Let my
Yeah.
users complain that they haven't gotten any updates because the app shows a number on the screen. That's what it's supposed to do. That's all I wanted to do, Frank. All right, topic number two. Topic number two. I did a video on it. It's called
Oh.
NuGet Central Package Management. You know about this? Have you heard about it? Have you
Oh,
heard the news, Frank Kruger?
I thought you even mentioned this on the podcast at one point, but I've already forgotten, but I'm pretty sure I like it, but I've already forgotten what it does. James, I didn't watch your video. Give us the quick version.
Let's say, Frank, you're building an application and it has more than one project. It has, class libraries, it's got a back
Mhm.
end, it's got a front
Mhm.
end. It's an application. It's got stuff.
Yeah.
Now, there's the problem is that here's the problem. The problem is that when you want to update your NuGets, you got 3, 4, 5 projects, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you have to go update all of them, go into the package references. Hopefully, you're not using packages config. Please don't. But you got to go update that. You got to use the GUI. You got to use the command
Yeah,
line. You got to open the
yeah.
files, do a thing. And pretty much all you're doing is just updating them all to the same exact version so they all match up. Just like you said earlier, you want them to
You
be,
really
especially if you're using
want
class,
to. Don't mix the versions, it's bad. It's really bad.
bad stuff. So, what if, Frank, you could just have a single file that instead
Mm.
of having package references, defined package versions?
Ooh, I like it because I already invented this 6 years ago. No big deal. You actually had to deal with it. There was a period of time where you were helping me out with Continuous, my IDE, and I had this
Mhm.
funny F# script in it called set versions. And you're like, Frank, what is the set versions thing? I'm like, James, that's how you set the versions. And you're like, why can't I just update the NuGets? And I'm like, no, you can't update the NuGets. It's a very fragile, very sensitive project. It's very sensitive about all of its versions. And it,
Mhm.
it was the project was really complex because I'm sure like most people's big projects, you have a whole bunch of your code, a whole bunch of code you copy and pasted because there was no NuGet. So you had to put it in there. And then you have 8 billion NuGets coming into your project that also provide code. And so you just have all these different sources of code, and getting them all in sync was very difficult. And I just threw up my hands at one point and wrote a terrible script that, given a list of version numbers, would just dig into every project just mercilessly.
Mhm.
Crack open every project file and just go find all the versions and update all the versions. Really great. I'm glad they're baking it in. I actually do have a different solution I've been using these days, but this solution's better. Should I mention the other one, or should you tell us some more about this version thing first?
Well, I'm curious if the thing that you were using was the same thing that I was using, which was
Yes.
directory.build.props. Yeah. That's the
Yes.
hacky old way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and in general, I consider it a hack too. A lot of people who love MS Build would say these are not hacks. These are things
Features.
designed to work this way. Yeah, these are features for MS
Yeah.
Build. Where I disagree with that is I really don't like global environment settings. So if my project is dependent on a file outside of the directory of the project and that dependency is implicit, I don't like that. I don't
Mm.
like implicit. I don't like magic. I don't like things going to
Yeah.
find things. But this NuGet package problem is such a big deal that the easiest solution, everyone, go create a, what is it called? Directory.props or directory.build.props, whatever, something like that. Go
Yep.
look up the documentation. What's lovely about that thing is you can just put in a whole bunch of properties, and it acts like a little csproj file that gets merged into all your project files, and that way you can set all these properties really consistently between a bunch of projects. And you can even, thanks to package ref, force a bunch of NuGets into all projects. But that's the kicker. That's the bad spot.
Yeah.
Every NuGet you list in there is going to get added to every project, which is probably not what you want. And that's why I'm actually happy to hear that they're doing something a little smarter. That's just versions, not the packages themselves. Am I getting that
Correct.
right?
So you can, yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So you can define, like, let's say you define 5 package versions of 5 different NuGets. Then in project 1, maybe that has all 5. So you'll still do a package reference. You'll say include newtonsoft.json, but you just leave off the version because the version is implied by the package version. Now in the other project, maybe it's only using 2. So it only brings in 2. Bingo bango.
Yeah.
Now, here's the kicker. Now there's a bunch of rules and you can override and you can have nested, directory.packages.props, right? So it's kind of the same thing as you were doing. But here's the kicker is if you're using .NET 7 or 8, you can use something called global package references. It goes in the same file, but imagine you want a NuGet in every single
Okay.
project.
So now
Before
it's
you
like the
would do what
directory
you are
properties.
doing. Exactly. But you can mix and match these. So you can say, here's all the package versions, and then here are global package references
Yeah.
that go everywhere in every single project. So that's pretty cool. That's my jam.
And it is actually pretty cool because there's not too big of a downside to referencing a package even if you don't use it. The downside on iOS is that package will come with you if it doesn't get linked out. It'll increase the
Hmm.
size of your executable, but it doesn't increase the size of a DLL or anything. You could add 8,000 references in there, and the DLL size will only go up by the name of the files.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. Cause I could easily see me throwing all the JSONs and all the things in there. I hmm, actually, I manage my own new project templates. I'm gonna throw
Huh.
one of these into my new project template,
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
my projects are gonna get all the things. Cause you know what? I just don't care anymore. Add all the libraries. I want all the libraries. Every time I have to write code, I get angry these days. So just bring them all in. Bring in. Can I just say NuGet star? Can I just bring in everything?
You can do like star, like, like versions or whatever that
Hmm.
works as well. So if you're like, give me
Yeah.
everything 8.0 dot star or whatever, it'll figure that out. But
It's
that'd be
funny
great.
because I was just dealing with this too in continuous that has
Mm.
the magic set version script that does all this stuff for me. I think all my versions are perfect, right? I get to the end of a 37-minute build because that's how long it takes to build this stupid thing. Get to the end and it's like, hey, buddy, we see you wanted F Sharp Core 5.0.1, but we're going to bring in 6.0.1 cuz. And I'm like, but why? And they're like, cuz. And I'm like, but why? And they're like, cuz. And I'm like, okay, fine. So, like, even with my strict system, I still somehow get random versions of things. And so I'm definitely going to give this a little spin to see if it can at least fix my stupid F Sharp core version because that one's
Yeah.
tripping me up. I have no idea why it's messing up the versions there.
That's wild. Yeah. It's a pretty cool feature and it's something that I didn't know about. And I was working on some stuff for .NET Conf and we're in this repo and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, what is this? I'm like, what is this file? And it's kind of cool too, because like let's say you're doing ASP.NET Core, like a lot of the version numbers are the same, right? So let's say you have like a
Yeah.
bunch of ASP, you have like 8. So it's still, you still can define variables up top. So you could say like ASP.NET Core version, right? You can still
Oh, jeez.
define and then reference them with like a dollar sign below. So you could
Oh
basically
boy.
like, here's all of my ASP.NET ones, and they're all referencing this version. So that's kind of cool is you can just bump it in one place and then it just trickles down. So it's kind of cool.
Ooh, I like that. Now I'm getting scared though. It sounds like someone put some effort into this configuration language. Sounds like it's growing up to be a programming language. Great. It's always good
Pretty
when that
nice.
happens.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
So how out of date are we, James? Is this a .NET 6 feature, 7, 8? When did it come out?
The .NET 6 feature, yeah.
It's
So
.NET 6. Okay,
.NET
everyone.
6,
Hi.
yeah,
Late and
.NET,
breaking.
.NET 6 for the package version, .NET 7 for the global packages. So not too far out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like 2 years. I don't even feel too bad.
No.
I got the funniest email from Azure the other day, and it's all like, "Hey, buddy." I'm like, "Hey, what's up, Azure?" And it says, "I see you're running a .NET 6 app." I'm like, "Yeah, living in the future." And it's like, "No, no, that's the past. That's the past, buddy. You know what the future is? .NET 8 LT. You're on .NET 6 LT. Long term here
Yeah.
at Microsoft means a year and a half.
Yeah.
So we're going to need you to upgrade to .NET 8, which actually hasn't been released yet." And I'm like, "Great, buddy. You're really, really stressing me out here." but
I saw your tweet and I got what an email that was like, "Hey, you're on .NET 7. You need to update to .NET 8." I have inside baseball that I can't talk about on the podcast, and we'll talk about after I hit stop.
yeah.
But I have a whole I sent a whole email out to some people about that. I was like, wait a second, what's going on here? Wait a
So it's
second.
not so bad. Like, it really isn't so bad because I did post. I was slightly nervous because like .NET 3 wasn't compatible with .NET 6. Even a .NET
Hmm.
3 app, it wouldn't run in .NET 6. But
Yeah.
I think somewhere around .NET 6 is where we stopped being incompatible with old versions. So it should be like
Hmm.
6, 7, 8 should be really easy to bounce between. It's the ones
Yeah.
before 6 that can cause scariness and late night nightmares, things like that.
Yeah.
But even those, most of those go over just fine. I recently converted a .NET 3 app over to .NET 6, and that was fine too. But
Yeah.
it was just funny. I'm like, it's a year and a half email. Azure, calm yourself down.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. All right, I got the last topic because I know you don't have one. Unless you got one,
I
you don't have
had
one.
one. You got to
Okay,
complain. I was gonna complain.
I'm ready. Go ahead, bring it on. Oh, two old
No,
guys complain on a
this is a
podcast.
perfect 3-minute topic here. We'll bring
Perfect.
this in to 30 minutes on the dot. Can I complain for a moment? Because I know I
Sure.
already have to. About
All right.
test flight app review. Did you know,
What?
James? Did you know? Let me finish here. Did you know that they are reviewing our apps in test flight app
Yes.
review now?
Yeah, that's correct.
They never were before. Man, I've uploaded the junkiest junk to test flight and they would get approved immediately. I always just assumed there was a computer or Siri. Maybe Siri is doing it. Siri's just like, "Oh, nice icon, approved." And I just assumed that that's how the test flight approval system worked. Now, I know that's not true because something weird happened maybe 2 years ago, 1 year ago. App reviews started being faster than test
Hmm.
flight app reviews. It was the weirdest switch. I was waiting on an test flight app review to happen, and I'm like, you know what? This is a solid build. I'm not even going to do a beta round for this build. I'd been doing betas before. I'm just going to do a release now. And the release was approved in like 4 hours, and the test flight was approved 2 days later. So I'm just like, what is going on over there? And then recently I had an app rejected. So it's all just coming to my head of like, I remember when test flight first came out, we're like, Apple, please don't put an app review on there. That's not the point. We want to get betas out. And they're like, no, don't worry. We're just going to look for high level important stuff. It's going to go right through the beta check. It's going to be super fast. And man, they're just not coming through on that promise. Test flight app reviews are horrendous. There shouldn't be rejections on there for anything that's not like just deleting the user's data.
Yes, I remember this specifically because it's mostly with new apps, and that's the biggest thing. And Google does the same thing, by the way, especially for new apps that you create. And if it's your first time doing anything, which the first time you're going to do anything is to internal alpha, internal testers, test flight testers, right? And really what you're doing there is you're like, I want to try to get it onto hardware and into users to test
Yeah.
XYZ, you know what I mean? But I found in my testing in recently launching a new app, which I know I don't know. I guess iCircuit 3D was the last one you released, which was, I guess, a while ago now, right?
Yeah. I'm due.
Oof.
I'm due for
You
an app.
do. And between that, like I remember the Google one taking like 10 days or something like that for them to approve it. It was like a week or something like that. It was wild.
For the
And
beta or for the app for the store?
beta, just the beta, just the beta.
Wow. Wow.
And then it took a good amount of several days actually for them to approve it into the store. Because I think like either process is the same. Basically, like, oh, this is a new thing. We're gonna like actually like
Mhm.
go through a process. Like, wow, this is wild. And the same thing on test flight. I was like just sitting there, like, what is going on? I don't understand. Like it was, yeah, it took 2 or 3, 4 days. I was like, this is wild. I didn't get rejected
Yeah.
though, but that's
Yeah,
things
so
that you did.
I don't wanna complain. It just feels weird to me. Like, the App Store was always a scary place because you could work on an app for 3 months, go
Hmm.
through the App Store review. I've literally done this myself, and they're like, "Nope, not gonna take your app." You change it as much as you can, they're like, "Nope, nope, we're just not gonna take your app." And then what do? You're stuck not selling your app. So
Yeah.
if what they're doing is running that same level of review to where if it passes test flight app review, most likely it'll pass real app review, great. But I just don't think that's the case. I think
No.
what we have are little kings ruling over their little kingdoms and enjoying their little power when they really should just be clicking the approve button and not really doing anything else. And so I think what the real problem I have is I don't have a mental model of what test flight is anymore because my apps aren't finished when I put them on test flight. Exactly what you said. I use test flight to test hardware
Yeah.
because like provisioning's hard and it's annoying and it's much easier for me to just do a test flight build and get it down to my own test devices and
Yeah.
things like that. They make I should say this is all for external testing. The internal testing is still instant, thank
That's
goodness.
true. Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't own every device under the planet. Some of my friends own devices I don't have, and I want to test on their devices, and therefore I want to do external builds also. So this is just a short rant on test flight's not so fun anymore. It used to be fun. Like you said, once your app is approved, once that version has been approved, then the computer kicks in and just starts auto approving you. But that first one, it's ugly. And they really like I keep getting quoted on performance sections of the
Mm.
guidelines. I love how they always have to dig up a stupid section of the guideline to prove their to justify their
Yeah.
trickiness. And then and I keep getting performance and they're like, I don't know how to use your app and I don't know what your app does. I'm like, what does that have to do with performance? It's just
Yeah.
such a broken system. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
complaints over.
I'm curious if they think that if they just let anything in there, then people will use it as like an app distribution store for friend. You know what
Well,
I
here's the
mean?
thing, that App Store is full of scam apps. All the
That's
top
true.
selling, all the top profiting apps on the App Store right now are scams. Go look at the list. They're like, hey, give us
Mhm.
$50 and we're going to blink some lights at you. And that's what they do. And those apps are allowed in,
That's
but I
true.
can't get a stupid basic app through a beta test. Yeah, you can steal as much money from users as you want. That's allowed. But, don't you dare show a blank screen.
The number one app right now in the
Top
world is
money.
no. This is actually really surprising. Top free app is it's called Laps. It's a disposable camera,
Fun. Good for them.
disposal for friends. I guess you take photos every day. And then Timu, which is you know things that are
These
really
are
cheap.
top
And then
downloads. Look for top profits, top money.
how do I find that?
Well, it used to be easy. There used to be top paid apps used to be the way you do it, but now you have to go find top gross top. There's something you can find it.
I'm looking apps you might like. There's so many categories. I don't even go in the
I
app
know.
store.
Yeah, exactly.
Top
Search is the only
paid
way to use
apps.
it. Yeah. That
Shadow
used to be the
Rocket.
way you find out, but now with in-app billing, top paid apps is not representative of the top earners.
Yeah, that's true.
No, the
Hard to
top earners
say.
are, yeah.
I'm imagining if it's a top app, that it's probably also a top earner. Because, like, I bet
No,
if I
that's
go,
the
okay,
problem.
hmm,
No, a lot of apps
oh,
are scam apps that are just profiting off of. Well, they're profiting off of users in ugly ways. They're the kind of apps that are like, hey, this is free, but in order to do anything, you got to try this 1 month thing that's going to charge you
Mm,
$15. Then they auto subscribe you, and then you stay subscribed. Those kinds of scams. Speaking of
scam
in-app
alert.
purchases.
Um, well, on that scam note, let me end on some cool stuff that's going on in the world.
All right.
Got .NET Conf happening. Check out .NETconf.net. I
Ooh.
think the schedule is going to be out by the time this
They
podcast
had
out. We'll see.
they had dates announced. Can you say the dates
Yeah,
that we have?
November 14th to the 17th. Nope,
Great.
to the yeah, .NET Conf 14th to the 16th, 14th, 15th, 16th.
14,
.NET
15, 16.
Conf.net. They just announced the student zone. So if you're a student, a learner, you got to check out the student
Nice.
zone. It's pretty cool. It's a day before on the 13th. A cool promo trailer. I'm in it a bunch with my long hair. But I do want to give a shout out to the Visual Studio channel, Frank.
Ooh.
YouTube.com/Visual Studio. Now, tomorrow, when this podcast is out, this podcast is out on the 9th. On the 11th, so 2 days later, you can go
Mm-hmm.
to the youtube.com/Visual Studio. We'll talk about it
Mm-hmm.
next week too. There's this mini series called Tea and Technology. I prefer to call it Coffee and Technology. I don't know. I am others. There's 7 episodes, like a TV series. Every week, new
Ah.
things get released. Yeah. They're mini series where Richard Campbell from Down at Rocks interviews 7 different people in and around, different parts of Visual Studio, .NET, other technologies, talking about their story, talking about all sorts of things. I get to talk about creating mobile apps and my journey, which I've talked a little bit about here. And I, Frank, busted out the floppy disks, and you're going to see some floppy disk code. You're going to see some beautiful C++ code. You're going to see I got permission from the game studio that I worked at
Oh,
to get
cool.
some footage and some code that I wrote from some
Nice.
shader code in this puppy. So pretty
Cool.
excited about that. And I talk a little bit about .NET MAUI and Xamarin Days, things of yore. So episode 4, October 13th. It's about 12 minutes long, so it's not a big commitment, but it's good stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'm excited about it. I'll tweet about it
That's fun.
on the 11th. It's out. Yeah.
I used to always love Channel 9 stuff, so this reminds me a lot of that. And you look like a big old hippie in this with your long hair and your unshaven beard.
It's very long. Yes. Yes. It's happening in general. So, well, that's it. I just want to end on that note. I'll put a link in the show
Yep.
notes to the blog talking about it. Give it a look. So until next week, this has been another Merge Conflict. I'm James Montemagno.
And I'm Frank Kruger. Thanks for watching and listening.
Peace.